Hey everybody, it's me, Max Farrow from DexFX Markets, and we are here on our TNT chart system. And in this segment today, here on February 13th, 2020, I need to have like a real conversation with you guys. And it's really important for you to understand that what I'm about to tell you is a process that could change your entire trading world. And I'm not talking about the Zedon, I'm talking about TNT. We recently, when I first built the TNT system, we wanted to build a network that was very easy to be able to trade, a very easy chart system to be able to use. We reached out to our friends over at TradingView. I plugged in the programs, I learned their program and learned their style, and we started to build our proprietary plugins to put onto TradingView. Now, TradingView doesn't have these plugins that we have, the MDM5 and the MDMSR. Okay, it does have the EMA, of course, but it doesn't have the other two, and that's what's really important. That's what fits it all in. Now you're probably saying, why do I need two plugins on a product? I don't use indicators. I'm a price action trader. Well, yeah, but these two plugins really do deal a lot with price action. It just helps give you more of a visual in learning how to do this process. Now, when we created the TNT several months ago, I was trying to find a very special platform and in a strategy, right? So it's good to have the tools, but you got to have a strategy. And the strategy was that we always look for, we're always looking for the trend, wait for negation to get the first trade after negation in the direction of the trend. Okay. And this setup happens a handful of times a day per each pair, right? But you gotta be paying attention. So we created a signal system that does it to a degree, okay? But the signal system can get tricked by the marginalization of the market itself and what depends to be a micro trend or a value trend or what have you. It could still put out a signal that may not be in your best interest. So I took a little hiatus. I'd say about maybe 3 months worth of not trading at all. Through the holiday, through January, and into February, I traded monumentally. I mean, I used my Zedon network to trade for me some. I did a handful of trades here and there. Nothing to brag about, right? But I traded enough in my life to last me 10 lifetimes. So I didn't need the experience. What I needed was the break. So I took a little break. And when I came back, now, when I first started developing TNT, I noticed a particular process, a pattern, if you will. And it was scary to me because I was just building the TNT. And there was two patterns that I had seen. And the first pattern was the TNT. But as I was putting the TNT rules together, I seen another pattern that basically every single arrow has the potential to be traded. I know you're probably saying, well, Max, why didn't you just start with that one first? Well, I kind of thought, that old adage, it's too good to be true, sounds too good. It might be that it's just too good to be true. And so I didn't have the time. If I had already researched and developed the TNT strategy and went back and looked at all the history and seen how many times it could win or fail or what have you, and wrote the rules and everything, I'd already done that. And I was already under pressure to release the TNT at the time. So I did. And we got great results with it. It's got a really good success rate. It works very well. But then after taking this break, I came back and I sat down in front of my little lonely computer and I started looking at every single arrow. And what would it take for every arrow to win? And as I began to look back at what we refer to as dynamic structure, okay, this is the dynamic structure. Support and resistance is like the macro structure, right? It's like out there, the big movement levels, the multiple touches and hits and where things channel out at and the big red marks and greens looking to become reds and all that kind of wonderful stuff. But what most people don't realize is that in price action trading, there are a lot of dynamic structures. And usually they meet up only because of within a certain period of time that those levels have been rejected at one point or another or supported. So in a case just like what you see on your screen right now, this line that you see that I'm drawing on right now could be considered a dynamic structure. Why? Because the level of rejection here at this line, and again here, we get a little pushback and we get rejection on the top side, a little bit push in, rejection, rejection, and probably come back up either to rejection or push through. And at that level, this will either become a trade or a trade down, a buy or a sell from this rejection line. But the arrow here can actually be considered that this line, okay, can be considered a strike price on Nadex. Now, I would even venture into saying I'd come up to the green and get the 97.88 or 99 or 89 into that facet. And that's what I did. Okay. Now, the thing is that these structures all have a potential to win or lose. And those win or lose ratios are really dependent upon how engaged the actual pair is. So we learn from these lessons. And of course, you're going to get stuff that pushes the limit. People are going to go to peaks. You're going to try to find, you're looking for as many touches. Why didn't I go to the peak? Well, the peak only has 2. This particular one has 3 or 4. And as you can kind of see, we're rejecting price even as we speak. Now, this could say, all right, I'm ready to go and just push through. Or it could collapse the trend up and bring it over. And this is the final end of this trend. That could be the process. Now, we got about a half hour left on this particular trade that we're on and looking, but this is not why I'm here to do, is to show you a trade today. You'll see plenty of that coming soon. What I'm here to show you is that the process itself works on every single pair all day long. And it doesn't matter if there's news or not. Price structure and structure itself is really committed to even when there's news, even when there's a really big impulsive move. The arrow does fire off at certain times that may seem productive for that particular process, but you'll see when you start learning this process how important structure and dynamic structure are and what it looks like even in the middle of a battlefield of news. So I've gone back and I've tested every pair all the way down the list for about a month and a half. Now, because this sheet doesn't really give me a lot of history to it because we try to save money by not holding a lot of history, so you're not going to have a 5,000 day sheet up here. But the information that I've looked at so far stipulates, even from back in the day when I gathered all the information before, that this system does work. Now, the original system was called TNT. We're going to refer to this as the Dex Atomic because really it's just a push button and gives you a bigger bang. There's many more opportunities to be able to buy into trades and to get into trades and to learn the lessons of dynamic structuring using the support and resistance. Now, originally we were talking about using the MA or the EMA or SMA, but the MA is really irrelevant at this point. Just sort of a fancy guide for you to kind of look to see, is it above the average or below the average? And so in most cases, I don't even use that as an expiry price or a strike price in Nadex. I'll use these particular lines. Like look how strong the support and resistance line here is on red. Now, I'm going to teach you how to read dynamic structure as well as how to utilize the support and resistance and how to find your strike price, right strike price over on Nadex. I'll teach you all those things in the values to come. But I just wanted to kind of really show you and tell you that this is coming. And this is called the Dex Atomic. I hope this finds you all well. I look forward to it working for all of you. And I'm very, very excited because in my world, when you learn how to begin to trade and you fight really hard, and this is your usual result, this is our automated system we have called the ZDON over the last 24 hours for me. So this is, as I turned it back on and started getting back into it again, made me $136. That's great. But in my Dex Atomic, I kind of made a lot more and had a lot less risk. And yeah, so I know that the system works. It's not just because I'm a master trader. It is because it's that easy. And once you get into it and see it, you will definitely see how it works. And you'll never want to go back to anything again. Even if you only have a short period of time, this will work over a 3 or 4 hour period where you only have to spend 10, 15 minutes per hour to actually getting into the trades and monitoring them. So I look forward to this being in your pocket in your toolbox to be able to utilize. You can use it with the ZDON if you had to, but you really wouldn't even really need to use the ZDON at that point either. All right, I'm Max Farrow. This is DexFXMarkets.com. I look forward to seeing you inside, and as always, trade well.